My name is Tudor Codreanu. I'm the clinical team lead of the OSMAT team that has been scrambled and deployed to repatriate the Australians which were on quarantine on board Diamond Princess in Japan. OSMAT stands for Australian Medical Assistance Team, and we are trained to do exactly this. Personally, when the call came 12 days ago on a Monday morning, I've just returned into country from South America, where I was riding my motorcycle, and the difference between what I was doing on a Friday and what I was doing on a Monday, with 12 hours of time zone difference in my mind, it's hard to describe. Certainly, a small team has arrived in Japan, and with the aid of the Australian government and the Australian embassy in Tokyo, we have repatriated more than 160 people who are now in Howard Springs in quarantine in Darwin. We are halfway through the quarantine, and certainly it's a good time now to look back and look at the challenges that we've been facing with, overcome them, and what is still left to look for in the next. Like a medication list or home address or a mobile phone number, which normally can get 30 seconds to find, in a quarantine setting is much more difficult. We required a few days to gather all that information and have it double checked so that we can issue the medications to our residents here. Another issue, supply of items just to make their life ever so much more comfortable whilst they are here. There are items who, of course, can be found in Darwin, others they have to come from interstate, and managing the list of requirements with the availability and also with the expectation in the context of the high emotional and psychological demand that was put on our residents was another challenge that had to be met. That goes very much in sync with food delivery, food requirements, dietary requirements, timely delivery of the food in the weather conditions which are in Darwin, very hot and very humid. We are in the wet season. The rain, when it comes, is overwhelming. That certainly puts a different slant on how we are doing our processes and how we adapt our systems to deliver the care and the support that we need to our residents. It goes without saying that an OSMAT deployment has two sides as far as people are concerned. The other side is the OSMAT team members. Some of us have been working for, say, 12 days, 14, 16 hours a day in the same environment. We share the same food, we share the same water, we share the same accommodation, we share the same restrictions, or even more than them. We are wearing full protective equipment when we are inside the camp. And looking after the welfare of our team is also as important as looking after the welfare of our residents. The big challenges that we had in the first few days, some of them are similar to all deployments, but some are very new. A quarantine to this extent for such a number of citizens has not been done in a long time. And we are talking about the Spanish flu more or less 100 years ago. So there are novel elements that the team has to adapt to. Certainly, I'm absolutely convinced that none of our residents have been going through any kind of previous quarantine experience. So whilst things are going and they are settling, the challenges that we had at the beginning, some of them were novel and we had to overcome them, and I'm pretty sure we are very close to everybody being very happy.